Have you ever wondered what actually happens when an Amish wedding ends no hotel booking, no honeymoon flight, no romantic getaway, and what the couple does when the last guest leaves, the food is cleared, and the most important night of their lives begins at the bride's parents' home? The day before the night. To understand the Amish wedding night, you have to understand the Amish wedding day. It begins before sunrise with farm chores, continues through a 3-hour church service in German and Pennsylvania Dutch, feeds up to 500 guests across 2 full meals, and does not end until 10:30 at night. By the time the last guest leaves, the couple has been surrounded by family, neighbors, and church members for 14 hours straight without a single moment alone. No kiss at the altar. One of the first things that distinguishes the Amish wedding ceremony from nearly every other tradition in America is the absence of the kiss. There is no moment at which the officiant tells the groom he may kiss the bride. The ceremony conducted by the bishop, who questions the couple and receives their verbal affirmations, ends with a blessing. The couple returns to their seats. No embrace, no kiss, no public physical expression of any kind. Physical intimacy belongs entirely to the couple, not to the congregation that witnessed the vows. No ring, no photos, no white dress. The visual markers that define a wedding in the modern American imagination are almost entirely absent from the Amish ceremony. There are no wedding rings, jewelry of any kind is forbidden by the Ordnung. There are no photographs. The Amish prohibition on posed photography means no one documents the ceremony or the couple. There is no white dress. White is considered a symbol of vanity, and the bride wears a newly sewn dress in dark blue or purple that will become her Sunday church dress, and eventually the dress she is buried in. The groom wears a black suit, and, in many communities, a bow tie the only day in his life he will wear one. The Ek. Throughout the wedding day's long meals and celebrations, the bride and groom sit together at a special corner table called the Ek, the Pennsylvania Dutch word for corner. This is their designated place at the center of the celebration, surrounded by their attendants called nuhakers, meaning side-sitters. The Ek is the one place at the wedding where the couple is visibly set apart, seated together, served first, acknowledged by every guest who passes. The bride sits on the groom's left, the same position she will occupy when they ride together in the buggy as husband and wife. After the noon meal, the afternoon is spent in singing, visiting, and the quiet matchmaking that Amish brides practice by seating unmarried guests of opposite genders together at the evening meal. The day is long, social, and entirely communal. What the young men do. In many Amish communities, particularly among more traditional settlements, the wedding night is not without its complications, and those complications are deliberately arranged by the younger members of the community. The tradition of Amish wedding pranks, documented in multiple accounts of community life, involves groups of young men targeting the couple's sleeping arrangements with an elaborate range of mischief. Cornstarch, pepper, and flour scattered between the sheets of the bridal bed. Alarm clocks set to go off at intervals through the night. The bedroom door was removed from its hinges. The groom's horse harness is hidden or disassembled. In more ambitious cases, the couple has returned from the wedding festivities to find their bed moved to the middle of a cornfield or reassembled on the roof of an outbuilding, complete with a kerosene nightlight on a nightstand beside it. These pranks are not universally approved within Amish communities. Some elders have spoken against them, and many accounts suggest the practice has declined as communities have grown and other forms of entertainment have become available. But the tradition reflects something genuine about the Amish understanding of marriage, that it is a community event, not just a private one, and that the community's investment in the new couple extends even into the light-hearted disruption of their first night. At the bride's parents' home, when the last guests have gone and the pranks have been discovered and dealt with, the couple spends their first night as husband and wife at the bride's parents' home. This is not a temporary arrangement made because their own home is not yet ready. It is the expected and traditional location for the wedding night across virtually all Amish communities. The reasoning is entirely practical and entirely Amish. The morning after the wedding, the entire extended family returns to help clean the house, carry out the benches borrowed from neighboring church districts, restore the rooms to their normal configuration, and process the remaining food from 2 enormous meals. The couple is expected to be present for this work. They rise early, as they always do, as the farm schedule requires, and join the cleanup effort alongside parents, siblings, and community members. There is no sleeping in on the morning after an Amish wedding. There is no slow breakfast ordered from a hotel kitchen. There is laundry to fold, benches to move, dishes to wash, and a house to restore. The wedding night ends not with a late morning in a luxury room, but with an early rising and several hours of communal labor, which is, in the Amish framework, exactly as it should be. The visiting season instead. The concept of a honeymoon, a trip taken immediately after the wedding, separating the couple from their community for a period of private celebration, does not exist in traditional Amish practice. What exists instead is a visiting season. In the weeks and months following the wedding, the new couple spends their weekends traveling by buggy to the homes of every family and friend who attended the wedding. These visits serve two purposes. The first is social. The couple presents themselves as newlyweds to each household, shares a meal, and begins the work of establishing their identity as a married pair within the community network. The second is practical. It is during these visits that the couple receives most of their wedding gifts. Amish wedding gifts are not brought to the ceremony or the reception. They are given privately at the home of the giver when the couple arrives for their visit. A household that hosted the couple for an evening meal gave them something useful for the home they were building: kitchen equipment, bedding, tools, preserved food, or handmade items that reflected the giver's particular skills. By the time the visiting season ends, typically by the following spring, the couple has traveled to every household that witnessed their wedding and has received, through those visits, much of what they need to furnish and stock the home they are about to begin living in, where they live. Throughout the winter months following the wedding, the couple continues to live at the bride's parents' home. Their own home, the place where they will establish their independent household, is not yet ready. In many cases, it is being built during this period by the men of the community, using the same communal labor model that produces Amish barns and schoolhouses. The community builds the house. The couple furnishes it through the visiting season. By spring, when the farm season begins and the demand for labor on the land becomes the organizing principle of daily life, the house is ready and the couple moves in. Some Amish communities follow a slightly different arrangement, with the couple living in a separate, smaller dwelling on the bride's family property, a structure sometimes called the Grossdaddy house or grandfather house, before eventually moving to their own place. The important, consistent element across all of these arrangements is that the couple does not begin their married life in isolation. They begin to be embedded in the family and community that will surround them for the rest of their lives. There is no period of just the two of them figuring out how to be married in private. They are married within a community that has been watching them since childhood, that assisted in building their home, and that will continue to be present in their daily lives in ways that modern marriage organized around the nuclear couple as its primary social unit does not replicate. The beard begins. On the morning after the wedding, one visible change begins in the Amish husband's appearance. He stops shaving. The Amish tradition of beard growing after marriage, growing a full beard while keeping the upper lip clean-shaven, is one of the most consistently observed physical markers of Amish marital status. The beard is not optional. It is required by the Ordnung for all married Amish men, and its absence on a married man would be noted by the community the same way the absence of a prayer covering would be noted on a married woman. The prohibition on mustaches specifically, which distinguishes Amish facial hair practice from most other beard-growing traditions, has a documented historical origin. In European culture at the time, the Amish were establishing their identity as a separate people. Mustaches were strongly associated with military officers. The Amish, as committed pacifists who rejected military service entirely, chose to grow beards while specifically omitting the mustache as a signal of their separation from military culture. That distinction, beard yes, mustache no, has been maintained without interruption since the community's founding in the 17th century. For the new husband, the beard that begins growing the morning after his wedding will be present on his face for the rest of his life. It is the most visible daily reminder that he has crossed from one phase of Amish life into another, from the clean-shaven young man of his parents' household to the bearded head of his own. The wedding dress. The dress the Amish bride wore on her wedding day does not go into a box in a closet after the ceremony. It goes into regular rotation as her Sunday church dress, the best dress she owns, worn every week to the service that is the center of her community's religious and social life. This is not a compromise made from practicality, though it is also that. It is a reflection of the Amish principle that nothing should be made or purchased for a single use when it can serve a continuous purpose. The wedding dress is the finest dress the bride owns because she made it with the greatest care from the best fabric she chose for the most significant occasion of her life. Making it unwearable after one day would violate everything the Amish understand about the relationship between objects and their purpose. The dress is worn every Sunday. It ages with her. It becomes, over decades, the garment most closely associated with her identity as a married Amish woman. And when she dies, she is buried in it. The dress that was present at the beginning of her married life is present at the end of it. The same fabric that was new on her wedding morning, carried through decades of Sunday mornings, goes into the ground with her when her life is complete. This is not a morbid tradition in the Amish understanding. It is a complete one, a garment that accompanies the entirety of a woman's married life from its first day to its last.